I've got these beautiful washi tape stickers from Temu. I think I'm going to be using this one today, but I'm not sure quite just yet. I might make my mind up a bit later, because you get 10 in a pack and they're all so beautiful and they're all different. So lots to choose from. So that's the 10 that you get in the pack. So I think I'm going to use that one, but we'll see at the end. I've picked out some mica powders that I think are going to match nicely with the colours in the washi tape. So to start with, I'm going to use the darker colour out of the mica powders, and I'm just going to brush this on around this outside edge. So I'm just going to work my way all the way around the outside of the tray, making sure to go up these sides, and the same again on this outer edge here. So what I'll do is I'll do this and then come back to you in a little while when this is ready for the next bit. That's all burnished in round the outside edge now. So I'm going to go in with my second colour, and I'm going to cover the whole tray in this colour. So I'm just going to use a gloved hand. It just might be easier to do it like that than use a brush, because it's quite a large area to cover. So I'm just going to cover the whole section now with this colour. Now that colour's all down, I'm going to use some sellotape just scrunched up, and I'm just going to remove some of the mica powders off the surface there. So just scrunching that up, pushing it down onto the mica powder, and then that takes it back to the bare silicone there. So I'm just going to keep doing this all over with some sellotape. So now that's all done, you can see all those areas there where you can see the silicone again. So now we're going to go in with our next colour, because this will only stick to the silicone that's showing. So the colour that was put down first will stay like it. Right, let's just use a brush, I think. We're doing this second layer. Save wasting another pair of gloves. Right, so just going to go all the way over this again. Put way too much on there. Right, that's all covered again. So we're going to do the same thing again with the sellotape. Scrunch it up and then take off some again. And this is a technique I first saw Wendy at Teampish Crafts doing, and it kind of reminds me of like the old rag rolling we used to do back in the day on the walls with like an old bit of cloth and paint. Who's done that? I know I had a few walls in the house that were rag rolled. Right, so we're just going to keep doing this the same as I did before, taking those layers off. So I'll do this, because you don't need to keep seeing me doing the same thing over and over. So I'll do this and then I'll see you back for the next bit again. So now that's done, and again you can see the silicone through there. So I'm going to go in with my last colour now, this sort of peachy colour. So same again, just going to brush this all over the top. But this time we're not going to do the sellotape, because we don't want to take any off now. This will be our last layer. So just making sure I've got all those micas brushed in nicely there. Make sure I haven't missed any patches. Give that a good burnishing. So now that's all ready for some resin. So I'm just going to go mix up some resin and I'll see you back in a minute. I've mixed up some resin and I'm using the Jdiction high gloss epoxy resin. This is a 1-to-1 resin, crystal clear, high gloss, odorless, bubble free, and it's mixed by weight. So now that's in there, I'm going to add to that some black pigment paste. So just going to squeeze some of that into there and then get that mixed in. That's all nicely mixed now. I've made sure to scrape all around my sides and down in the bottom there. Make sure there's no unmixed pigment paste. And then I'm just going to fill up my mould with the black. So just going to let it run and find its own way down those edges first. Just taking it nice and slowly. Just letting the resin find its own way. And then I'm just going to top up all the rest. Right, I've made up a bit too much there, so I'll have to find something for that. Just going to use some 99% alcohol. Give that top a little squirt. Pop any bubbles that might be there. So we'll leave this to cure now and then I'll see you back for demould. These are all cured up now and I'll just get these extras out first. This is what I made with the leftover black. I just added some non-sink glitter into those. That's a little butterfly. Then we've got a little lion. He's adorable. I love that mould. And then we've got a little turtle. Let's pop him out. He's lovely. Right, so let's get this one out next. Pop that to one side. Oh, pretty. That looks lovely. Right, so let's decide on a sticker. I think I'll stick with my original plan of using that one. So I'm just going to peel this off. And then actually I'm going to trim around that first. Let's pop that back down onto there. So I'm just going to take away some of this extra bit that make it easier to fit it onto the tray. Taking it round there. And get rid of that bit around there. Right, that's better. So let's pop this one down. Let's get that lined up where I want it. About there, I think. Just going to put one side down first and then use a squidgy to get the rest of the sticker down. So that's how it's looking at the moment. Right, so next I've got these little, oopsie daisies, I've got these little leaves that I want to use, but I don't want to add them into my resin for the top coat, because if I do that, when resin cures, it pulls into the middle. So I don't want all my little leaves going into the middle. So I'm going to stick them into place using some Mod Podge, and then I won't have to keep an eye on it then and keep moving them back around to the outside edges. So I'm just going to put some Mod Podge down and then add my leaves to that. Just a few round the outsides. So let's put some up here. And the Mod Podge will dry clear, so you won't see any of that. So where else should we have some? Let's have some down here. A couple there. Some down this side. Right, I think that's all my leaves that I want put down, so I'll just leave that to dry, and while that's drying I'm going to go and mix up some resin, and then I'll see you back in a bit. This is all dry now, and I've mixed up some more of the Jdiction high gloss epoxy resin, so I've got that in there, and I'm going to add to that some of this coppery colour glitter that's in this stack. So I'm just going to add a small amount of that. Just pop that in there, and then just get that mixed in. That should be enough just to give it a little extra something. So I'm just going to pour this straight over the top, and then work that all the way to the edges, making sure I've got a nice even coverage on the bottom there. Because this is a washi tape sticker, it does need to be sealed in, whereas if it was a UV DTF sticker it wouldn't have had to have been, but it does as it's a washi tape. Alright, I think that's all the way round. So how much have I got left in here? It's quite a deep tray, so I think I'll add a little bit more. Actually, I might as well just use all of what I've got in there. Scrape that all out. And then I'm just going to use a torch and just pop any bubbles that might be there. So we'll leave this to cure now, and then I'll see you back in a bit. This is all cured now, and I've finished off my extras. So that's the little lion with some gold added, and the butterfly, I've just added some gold around the outside edges there, and the little turtle, I've just put some gold on his feet. Right, so this is how this is looking now. Looks lovely, and all those little leaves stayed exactly where I wanted them. So I'm just going to finish this off now by adding some cork feet to the bottom. So I think I'll put one there, and one there, one on that side, one on the other side, one there, and I'll just add one final one in the middle there. So that's my tray all finished. So thank you ever so much for watching my video today. Stay tuned for the pictures at the end, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.
Sunlight gleaming through the pane on my little houseboat domain. Got my molds and colors bright, crafting magic day and night. Floating gently on the bay, watching little fishes play. But my mind's on swirls and gleam, living out a crafty dream. Got my epoxy hardener too, mix 'em up a shade of blue. Pour it slow with careful hand. Let's start resin in the land. Resin magic on the houseboat, turning plastic into gold. Little trinkets, shiny new, crafted just for me and you. From a simple little